What's up guys, it's Nick here coming to you with another one of my notebooks. I've got a whole bunch of notes on Forza Motorsport because I'm revisiting it again to ask, is it good now?
I'm Ricky Bobby. If you don't chew Big Red, then you.
Before I kick things off, I just want to say thank you very much for watching. If you enjoy the video, please remember to hit the like button before you go. I'd really appreciate that. And if you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you want to catch more. Alright, let's kick things off. So if you've been watching my videos or following any of the updates, you'll know that Forza is telling a story about how it's a game that came out that wasn't as good as it should have been, but it's getting better, and it's been getting better over time to a point that it's really feeling quite good now. One of the previous videos I did was when the endurance updates came out, which was about a year ago, because it's not long now since, it's not long now until Le Mans happens, and that's when it happened last year, and that's when things started feeling like they were shifting up quite a lot, and there were a lot of updates that I really appreciated, and that I think was a good reason for anyone to maybe think about coming back. But now we're on update 20 since the game's come out, and it's coinciding also with the 20th anniversary of the Forza franchise. With this update 20, they've now added Fujimi Kaido, which is the very famous mountain road in Japan. And on top of that, I mean, I must just point out, this level is gorgeous. It feels like they've put in some extra effort here, because it returns to the franchise, but it looks phenomenal. Wow. The trees and the atmosphere and the environment just all looks great. So it's been quite fun driving it. I kind of forgot what sort of a gauntlet it is, so doing races on it is quite hardcore. I really like what they did. I don't know if this is just particular to the new map, but they added the replay cameras on Fujimi Kaido. They got like a lot of shaky cam and things like that on the replays. It almost feels like it's got some different cameras that I'm used to, and it looks so good. It has such a great look to it. It sort of makes things, sure, it makes them a bit shaky and everything, but it looks fast and exciting. On top of that, they've now added this a meetups mode, which I think is really cool. It's kind of like a track day mode. So you know, if you ever know about these that happen all over the world, there's track days and things, but especially something that's on my bucket list is I would love to go to the Nürburgring one day and go and do some of their track days there, or their, you know, Touristfahrten, I think they call them, which sounds ridiculous in English, but it's basically sort of open day laps that you can go and do. But you can do that now in the game. You can all jump on a track like Nürburgring and everyone can just go and drive, which is kind of cool. I like that. And they got a bunch of tracks that they've got this for, and then they've got a mode where there's just like sort of all the tracks. And speaking of that, and coming back to that, they've really added a lot of tracks now to the game since it came out, and the track list is now really looking quite chunky. That was also something that was a little bit lacking when the game came out, but I mean, since it's come out, they've added Yas Marina, they've added the Nordschleife, Sebring, Mount Panorama, Fujimi Kaido, as I said, Road Atlanta, Sunset Peninsula, and yeah, I mean, that's incredible already, and I might even be missing a few. I just jotted a couple down, you know, a bunch down that were you know, in my mind. And I mean, it's really nice now. There's a lot of tracks, a lot of variety. I mean, there's still a ton of cars. That's never really been a problem, but they're still adding more, which is great. On top of that, they've now added driver improvements as one of the latest updates, and I think this is a big deal because, especially for me playing in career mode and things, the driver tars are not great. They haven't been great. They're okay, but I've always found the problem, it wasn't as much with their driving sort of style around you. It was more about the fact that the balancing was quite bad, and I'm hoping that they fixed that, and I haven't spent enough time to quite know yet if they've done that. But these new driver tar AI improvements are supposed to be about having them do multiple race lines and things like that now, so that when they're in traffic, or you know, when they're driving, especially against faster drivers, they apparently consulted people who play a lot and even sim racers and things like that. They wanted to get the cars more competitive at higher difficulties, and they also wanted to have them more dynamic and able to race you and try and overtake you on different lines and things like that. So they've pulled that in. Now, I must be honest, in the bunch of career mode that I've just played very recently now, I haven't noticed anything drastically different, but I wasn't paying too much full attention to it. But one of the things that's still bugging me is whether or not they fixed the balance on the difficulty, because I did a career mode race now on this new 20th anniversary, which each race series takes you through the different, almost like the different cover cars of the game. So the first one, you're racing in the Honda NSX, and I was racing around Maple Valley, and I did some practice laps. I managed to beat the sort of reward time that they put up, But then when I started the race, I mean, my car was also kind of under... I think my car, I just gotten it to be decently performing compared to the others. And when I normally play on the difficulty that is just one lower than full difficulty. And I don't use traction control or stability control. I only use ABS. So, I keep rewind on because I'm not crazy. And I have, a family and a life, so I can't be redoing entire races. But just on that setting with, I think, medium sort of regulations in terms of rules and all that, playing like that. So I had it on that second last difficulty, and I started in 6th. I started myself in 6th. And what happened was, at the start of the race, I basically shot off to the front, and in not too long, I had gotten ahead of the guy in front, and I was starting to pull away. And that was just after one lap. So what I did was I restarted everything, and I bumped the difficulty level up one more to see, okay, what will it be like here? Now, before I continue, I want to just point out one of the issues that there always was previously when I was playing career mode since the game came out, is that even when I put the games on difficult levels, what would happen is I would race a bit with the cars that were like 2nd and 3rd and 4th. I would even get past them, but the car in 1st, I would always just call it the Verstappen car, because there was always this one car, like the car in 1st was miles ahead of everybody else, which was frustrating because you basically, you could drive well, but you're only getting 2nd because this one car was just way ahead. Now, a while ago, maybe about a year ago, when they did those updates and I did my previous video around the endurance update, I found that things had started feeling a lot better, like there was closer racing to the front. Now, in this race, I started in 6th again. I put the difficulty up to full. And at the beginning of the race, I shot off to the front quite a lot again, which I wasn't too happy with. I don't know why the other cars were struggling to have a good start, but I shot straight up to the front. I got to first place, or not first place, I got alongside first place, and then I landed up chasing down the first place car. But then what happened was the first place car definitely picked up a lot of pace compared to what he had one difficulty down, and I couldn't catch him. And maybe I wasn't driving as well as the first time around, but I couldn't catch him, and eventually they started pulling away, and I had to think a little bit about the cars behind me, but not much. I think they even potentially disappeared after a while. I'm trying to remember now, but yeah, I would need to spend a lot more time with it, but I think overall I can still say that things are feeling better. So if you're coming in and you want to just play it single player, then you're gonna have a decent time now. And they're constantly adding events and things like that, which I do like. So like with my previous update with endurance, they added some extra. They added the Porsche hypercar. They added, if I remember right, the actual track that Lamar races on, Les Arts. And I would love to see a few more of those, which would be great. I'd kill to get the 499p, the Ferrari hypercar in the game, and the rest of them, to be honest. But they do some fun stuff now where they're mixing up events and they're constantly adding things and giving you some new things to do. So I like that, and I like that they're keeping this thing going. I mean, this is pretty much, after all, now a live service game, for lack of a better term. I mean, it's pretty much is what it is. So they want to keep people playing, so they got to keep people interested. And, they can't, I'd like to see how long they keep going adding tracks, because eventually it's going to get ridiculous. But, yeah, I'm sure they're running some sort of balancing act there on what to do. There's a few other things that they've done which I do like and don't like, which I'm going to get to now. One of the things that they've added along with the updated Drivatar AI is they've finally made it so that the default setting for multiplayer is to have the proximity radar on, because that proximity radar was added after the fact. I still think it looks a bit silly. It looks like something that they got out the door really quick because they didn't have one. I'd like to see something a little bit more refined over time. It would be great. Something like, even in Gran Turismo, you've got, like a little circle with, it looks like a little bit of a radar map type of thing. I'd like something a little bit better than just the blue and the white rectangles moving around. It would be nice, especially if it can feed you just a little bit more info. But for now, it's doing the job, and I mean, to me, that's a huge problem that they're fixing by just getting that in, and especially now putting it on default, because too many people don't know about it or don't put it on, and then you're running around in multiplayer and getting smashed. And I've actually read a lot in comments and on social media, things like Reddit, that some people are still complaining, and even in my own comments coming in now, like old comments, old videos getting comments in still, where people pop on and complain because they're saying that everyone in the multiplayer lobbies treats the game like it's a destruction derby. So this is, it's moving to a good direction. And on that note, one of the things that I've noticed in multiplayer that I really like, that was added still quite a while back, but you may have missed it, is that they're doing things like ghosting cars more, and I really like this. If there's a car that's not quite going the right speed with everyone else, they'll ghost it. Certain accidents, they ghost them, and that really just helps things flow, because you're not having a situation where people are either griefing people, or a bit of a silly accident happens and it can ruin it for everyone. I mean, I still, even in this race that I had just before I'm recording now, I mean, I had someone who lost it right in front of me, and he landed up sort of semi-pinning me in a wall, and the two of us moved right to the back, and it was unfortunate, but that's racing, that's cool, that's fine. But yeah, you don't want someone slowing down and causing a whole bunch of trouble, and unless they're a whole lap back, then it goes to them. So this is cool. I like that. They also said that they've fixed the default fuel to be more closely aligned with the actual laps of the races. Now, I think they said that this was only for multiplayer, but I'm not totally sure about this one, because something that was just frustrating me again, not more than an hour and a bit ago, was in career mode. It absolutely kills me that they always have these just stupid amounts of fuel that they put in the car by default. So if you are in a race and it's a 5-lap race, then you go into practice. I mean, it's happened to me so many times. I go into practice and I start doing some laps, and like 2 laps in, I realize my car has 27 laps of fuel or something in it. So it's crazy heavy. And it's so silly, because, you can, in some modes, you can actually adjust your fuel on the fly. But in some cases, it's just downright frustrating, and it's just annoying that you have to do it every time. So if a race is 5 laps, at least give me the option. If a race is 5 laps and I start the practice or the race mode, just make the default the amount of laps of the race. And then if I want to push it higher or lower or whatever, I can. And even in practice, if I'm in practice, I'd much rather do 5 laps and realize I have to pit, rather than, or restart or whatever, rather than do 3 laps and realize I'm sitting with this absolute, tank of a car because I've got so much fuel in it. So yeah, that's something I think that they could still improve on. And this can segue into a little bit of my complaints that I've still got with the game. There's still some places where it could be improved, I feel. When it comes to the general interface and the menu, the nav could definitely be better. The navigation is not great because it's cumbersome. I hate the fact that it's so much work to sometimes have to back out of things and go all the way to the back. If you need to get to settings, you sometimes need to back out like 5-6 menus just to get to settings, and sometimes there's even a little bit of loading, and that really needs to be sorted out. And I really liked how they would handle this in Gran Turismo games, where you had like a settings menu up at the top at all times that you could access separate from the interface that's in front of you. And then you can, you could also do things like quickly get to your garage or quickly change your car, which is frustrating. And even where that is concerned, your current car, I wish they would do more with your current car. Like when you arrive in the game, you can pick cars to put on your showroom, and you got your one main featured one. I still don't understand why they haven't just added the option to make that car your current car. I just want whatever car I have selected to be my feature car. Let that be it, and let me change it. And then from there, let me do things like easily click on it to go and change its design, or go and tune it, or do something to it. It would be great. I don't understand why they don't do that a little bit simpler, to make it easy to, just get to your car and change things, because it can be very frustrating when you have to back up so much. Well, if I'm in an event, for example, and I want to change the design on my car, I have to back out of the event. I have to back all the way back out, sometimes multiple menus, go to the car, get to my cars, pick the car, then go to tunes, or, find it, there's another way to maybe do it through tunes, but nothing direct. They need to sort that out. And I would like to see some further optimizations to finally bring the game around to be able to maybe manage higher resolutions in RT mode, or maybe even improve the RT somewhat to make it worthwhile to actually go into that mode. Because at the moment, if I remember correctly, there's really just a little ray tracing ball around your car, and anything sort of close enough to it will reflect. But you don't see that much when you're racing anyway. It doesn't make too much of a difference, and it's not worth a sacrifice to drop to 30 FPS, and in some cases lower the resolution a lot. So I'd like to see them even overhaul this in the future. It would be great to eventually get something like global illumination. But look, I don't even have the first clue about how much work it'll take to do things like that. Then, yeah, my one last complaint, which is something that's been going on since the dawn of time in this game that they apparently fixed, but it's still not working quite right for me, is that I finished my multiplayer session earlier, and I wanted to just save my replay at the end because I wanted to actually capture some footage for the video. And it's just doing the thing again where it's just not saving multiplayer replays. So I don't know why. I think in the beginning there might have been working multiplayer replays, but they were saving, but they were broken. But there's no replays. Like, I saved my race, I went back, and it's just not in the theater, which sucks. So that sort of caps off my complaints about the game so far, but at the same time, I don't want that to become too much of the focus, especially because I did it towards the end, because where Forza Motorsport is right now is actually a really good place. If you're someone especially who's a little bit more casual, who just wants to come back and play a bit, to enjoy the game, play some multiplayer or play some career, the game is in a really good place now. It seems like it's only going to get better, but for now, it's looking really good. There's lots of tracks, there's improvements to the driving and the AI, there's more cars, there's a lot going on. So if you're thinking of jumping in, I mean, it's a pretty good time to do it. Everything is feeling really good right now. And especially if you're playing this on Game Pass, then it's a no-brainer. Go check it out. It's not going to cost you any more than you're already paying for your subscription. And if you bought it in the past and you were a bit disappointed, maybe it's time to give it another go. If you've been playing it or you're thinking of jumping back in, tell me, what kind of updates would you like them to do that would really bring you back for good, or really improve the whole experience for you? I'd really like to know what everyone else thinks about it, so hit me up in the comments below and let's have a chat. Thank you very much for joining me for the video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button to let me know. It also helps the channel a lot. And if you enjoyed it and want to see more videos like this, check out the channel and subscribe as well. Thank you very much for listening and watching. I'll see you soon.